I would like to let everyone know we were just at Dream Builder over the weekend with Mary Morrissey, and so we are so lit up, and that is where we met Sonia. And are you still lit up too?
Oh yes, I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Awesome. We have a lot to share, and we want to allow everyone a little bit of time. So at 6:05, we're going to start a grounding and getting present meditation that I'll lead, and we have some more people getting on right now. So, and if you'd like to announce yourself as you came on, somebody else just came on. Would you like to say who you are?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Is this Franco?
Yes, this is.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
We were hoping you were going to be on the call. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for being late, guys.
Oh.
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
Absolutely fine. We got some great stuff for you today, so I'm glad you called.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm going to mute my phone because I forgot my pen at my desk.
Okay.
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 Not a problem.
All right.
Okay.
And for anyone new on the call, if you could have a pen and paper with you, you're going to want to take notes. Okay.
And I'm sorry, the one in Mountain View, what was your first name again?
It's Shonal, S-O-N-A-L.
Okay, great.
S-O-N-A-L.
Yep.
And thank you for texting me with something we can cover tonight. We will be covering that. I've made a note of it, and I'll make sure to address what you wanted to address tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Beautiful. And Rachel, you're on the call now?
Hi, it's Rachel from Tampa, Florida.
Welcome, Rachel. And Nancy, welcome.
And Nancy, welcome. Awesome. Great.
And another person on the call, my name is Deepak. I'm in Santa Clara, California.
Welcome, Deepak.
Wow. I know Santa Clara well. I was in Campbell for quite a few years.
Yeah,
It's pretty
not
close.
too far.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And somebody new just joined us from 408 area code. Who's that? If you'd like to.
Yeah, I did. Davey.
Oh, hi, Davey. How are you? It's good to have you.
Hey, Lynetta, how we doing?
Oh, great. I'm really excited and so happy you're with us.
Welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
So we are at about 6:00. We have a couple more minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, and then we'll really get started. We have a lot of exciting things to share about all week long we've been at workshops that really help us to keep our frequency and vibration really high. That was our intention, to keep ourselves really in such a place of joy and play and excitement for our life. And every morning when we start our day, we want to be 10 times more alive. And, of course, in the morning when I do coffee, that's really important because I'm not going to do caffeine to get me alive. So I really like to keep my state as high as possible all day long. And what gets attracted into our life when we keep our state really high is amazing. That's where miracles really happen. So we have one more person from a 408 that just got on the call. Would you like to announce yourself?
Hi, this is Erica.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome, Erica.
Thank you.
Great to have you. All right.
Good to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Definitely. I look forward to it.
Yay. Were you on the call last week?
Yeah, I've been on the call the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks. Okay, and you've been participating, which I really would love to encourage everybody to participate. The more that you jump in and join us, you'll get support from the whole group, and it'll help you to have amazing results for yourself when you participate. So thank you for that. Also, I want to make sure that you know on Facebook we have a Magnetizing Money page, and we're going to be posting a lot of the links to the tools that we use on that site. if you're on our email list, then you will get the link to that Magnetizing Money page on Facebook. And if you're not getting our emails, if you go to our website, liveablaze.com, there is a page that just pops up, and you can put in your name and your email, and you'll get into our email list.
And we're going to be giving you a lot of our resources through that, through the email and through the Facebook page. There's all kinds of phenomenal resources we have to share, and we want to make sure you all have them. So make sure you're on our list. Thank you.
Awesome. So now I'm going to start with a grounding and getting us present guided meditation. So get comfortable in your seat. Relax your shoulders. Take a nice deep belly breath. And on your exhale, let out a sigh. Just making a sound will really help you to relax deeper. So I like to make a sound when I sigh. So inhale into the belly. And exhale. Don't be shy about making a sound. That vibration actually goes into your body and creates relaxation. Inhale into the belly again. This time relaxing the jaws and the shoulders. Let them drop. And feel your feet on the floor and exhale with a sigh. One more into the belly. And deep exhalation. Nice. Good job. So imagine that you're in a peaceful place in nature that you can imagine where you feel the most relaxed you've ever felt. Really feel the sensations, like the time of day, the weather. Is it warm or cool out? Feel the wind gently brush your skin and your hair. And amplify the sensations of feelings of being present in this peaceful place in nature. I've been hiking all day in the forest, so I'm really going to bring myself into a place in the redwood forest. And I see beautiful green clovers carpeting the floor and green ferns and the sound of water in a creek and little waterfalls. And I feel the breeze. And I'm present right here, right now, in this moment. My mind is quiet and present. And I'm going to suspend and put on hold any to-do list or what I was just doing. And I put that on hold or pause until after the call. I invite all of you to just push the pause button and be present and grounded right here, right now, in this moment with us. And another deep breath into the belly. And exhale. And when you're ready, open the eyes and be present. And a pad and pen close by. I'm going to talk a bit about setting intentions. Mark and I were just at Dream Builder with Mary Morrissey over the weekend, and she helps you to create the life that you love. And we're very excited about sharing some of that. One of the things we found was when we had an intention on what we wanted to do on Saturday and Sunday, we created an intention that we wanted to meet some power partners that would like to join us on this journey. And on Friday, we had not done that, and we didn't meet anybody on Friday. And we wondered, oh, what did we miss? Oh, we didn't set our intentions for what we wanted to create on our breaks during lunch and dinner. So on Saturday and Sunday, I was looking like through the line as we were waiting to get, we were in line to go to dinner, and I was scanning through the line of people, and just wherever I felt like the highest energy and I felt moved, I would ask that person to join us for dinner. And the ones that we picked to come with us for dinner were the perfect ones to connect with. And Sonia, she's on the call, and she was one of those people, and we had a wonderful time at lunch with her. Didn't we, Sonia? So
Yes,
that was really amazing to have that experience of such a difference with setting our intentions for who we wanted to meet and partners that we wanted to have with us. And so I invite you now to set some intentions for the call of what you would like to create, not only for the call, but also for your whole week, because at the end of the call, we'd like to get some of your intentions that we can all hold for you to have what you want through your week. That's another reason to get onto the Magnetizing Money page on Facebook and write down what it is you're focused on and creating for the week, and we can all hold that space together and be your power partners in creating that. So I'm going to set my intention now, and Mark will share his intention, and then I'd like to get a couple of people to share theirs. So create your intention now for what you want in the call. My intention in this call is to share some of the golden nuggets that we gathered from this amazing weekend where we had 800 people that were all creating a life that they loved together and giving you some of that enthusiasm, excitement, and juice for life that we got out of the weekend. We're going to send that to you energetically, and you're going to feel that throughout your whole body and whole being and experience some of what we got. That's my intention. And what's your intention, Mark?
My intention is to help communicate how important intentions are. And I'm going to give a great example. I had promised this to Franco last week, an amazing story I had a few years back that really kind of, for the first time in my life, helped me to get how important intentions are, and separating that out from other aspects connected with that might stop us. And I'll explain more once we get to that.
Okay. And can I get a couple of you, remember to jump in as you participate. You're going to create an amazing life for yourself out of your participation. So let's have you jump in as soon as possible and share your intention.
Does anybody have an intention either for the call or for the coming week? What would you really like in your life? Something you want to share right now?
This is Rachel.
Okay, Rachel.
Okay, Rachel, jump in.
I have an intention for this call. It just came to me as you were speaking, of creating funny. And funny is F-O-N-E-Y. It's half fun and it's half money. It's funny.
Ooh, love it.
Fun and money.
Fun and money. Whee! And it's like funny. It's almost like funny.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you get it?
Yeah, I get it. I like the play on words, Rich. Awesome. And we're going to hold that for you. All of us are going to create the space for you to have that. And we would like some as well. How's that sound?
Okay, fine.
Can you share? All righty. And we'd invite somebody else to join in.
This is Sonia. My intention for the week is to come up with as many ideas that I can take action on to get more clients.
Mm. Yes. All righty.
And we
Love
have lots
ideas,
of ideas on that. Oh, yes. Great.
Yes. That's a great intention. Thank you for jumping in with that one.
Great. Anybody else like to share?
This is Erica.
Yes, Erica.
I have a couple intentions. One is to move forward on some projects that I need to accomplish that are just kind of logistical necessary documents I need to take care of so that I can move on to some more fun, inspiring projects. And the second one is to rest and heal and take care of myself because I've been having a few health issues and I kind of want to rest and make sure I put that in a proper place.
All right.
Great.
And that's it.
Great. Thanks, Erica.
How about if the projects that you have to accomplish that aren't so fun, what if we were to like bring the fun and inspiration into those projects? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah. It's not the worst project. It's I'm updating my trust, my will. So it's just taking care of logistics, and it really makes you think about life and the things you have to answer and, things that might happen in case, this, that, or whatever. And so it's kind of interesting to see how my life has changed since I've last written it, and then think about what it really brings into focus to me is what's important in my life and what really matters, and just being truly grateful for every moment and every single day that you get to live and be a part of life. So it's, in that sense, it's been uplifting and positive for me.
Yeah, that sounds very inspiring. So it sounds like it can be an inspirational project.
It has. It's kind of brought into focus what really matters to me when you really start thinking about life and death. And it's like, oh, I could be dead tomorrow. I should really think about what's important to me today.
Yeah.
Well put.
And I like the word trust. And, that even just using that trust as a symbol for trusting yourself. Awesome. Okay, we'll also have that intention for you as well. So let's see. We want to move on now to Mark and how things happen to us in life. He's going to share some of that with us. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the things, and we've gotten this before, but Mary Morrissey really drove this home, is how things actually happen to us in life. And we discussed this a little bit last week. We're going to go into more detail this week. There's two ways of looking at the world. Most people look at the world that the world's a certain way, and the best we can kind of do is roll with the punches, so to speak. Like, if we're particularly sunk in that view, some of us will say, well, we don't have much control over what happens to us in life. There's a big world out there. Just got to roll with the punches, hopefully not get hurt too much. Maybe you can squeeze a little out of it. But, the odds are stacked against us. That's kind of like the whole pessimistic view. And unfortunately, most of the world shares that viewpoint that that's actually how it is. But one of the things that we know from quantum physics is that we actually create the world literally by looking at it, by interacting with it. And there's really no such thing as saying reality is a certain way. We literally create reality. And if you look at a lot of the quantum physics literature, you'll get that. And a lot of the motivational speakers like Mary Morrissey go into details about this. And the way Mary explained it is our thoughts create feelings. And feelings, and Joe Dispenza, who I mentioned last week, who just wrote a book called You Are the Placebo, and he particularly deals in the health arena at how we can literally create miraculous healings like he had in his own life when he healed a broken back in 2.5 months of basically meditation and energy work, and got up and walked when all the surgeons basically said he'd be a cripple for life. And he goes into how we can think something, like have a vision of wanting to be well physically, but the emotions, the feelings, cause that to be amplified like tenfold or more. And he actually cites scientific experiments which demonstrate all this. And he goes into then how literally the body changes and all kinds of hormones kick in and new peptides are created. And then basically we get results like the body heals. And this occurs not just in the health arena, but also in the money arena, which we're dealing with now, in love and relationships. Any area of life, the same things happen. Our thoughts create feelings, and that literally causes something to happen in the world and create some kind of results. And it can be really tough when we're in the middle of circumstances, like Franco shared some of the challenges he's having with work, for example. And it's really hard when things seem to be happening to us. But if we can just play, especially if this is a new concept, with the possibility that we're creating what happens to us energetically, then we actually get empowered to change our thoughts and then to kind of be curious and see how life changes for us. And I'm going to give an example. I mentioned this last week, or I hinted at that I was going to share it this week. I have an example from some years ago. One of the coursework that both Lynetta and I did is an organization called Avatar. And they're headquartered out of Orlando, and they do these transformational seminars. Their basic course is called the Avatar course. It's a 9-day course, not particularly inexpensive. And at the time, my former wife and I had done a bunch of their courses. And their most advanced course is actually called the Wizards course, and it's taught once a year, usually in Florida. And it's a 2-week-long course, typically held at some kind of resort or hotel in Central Florida. And the tuition for that course, the first time you take it, is $7,500 per person. And my wife and I had decided we both wanted to go on this course. And in addition to needing the tuition for both of us, our son was about 4 or 5 years old at the time, and he was going to need a full-time babysitter. And, of course, we were going to need to stay at this resort it was at near Disney World. And basically, it was going to be $20,000 for us to go on this Wizards course. And it was about 2.5 months out from the current course that we were taking through Avatar. And I had a computer business at the time that was doing well, but there was no way possible that I could earn $20,000 in 2.5 months. It was just absolutely impossible. Business was not nearly that good. And in Avatar, what they do is they have you make what they call a primary statement, if there's something you want in life. And a primary is just a declaration, and they suggested the following. They suggested, try on this statement. I will do whatever it takes to go to the Wizards course 2.5 months from now. So I made that primary statement. I basically made that declaration that I was going to do it. And the moment you declare anything, the voices kick in. The voices that go, hell no, that's completely impossible. Who do you think you are to create money like that? There's just no way. You have too many expenses. Business isn't that good. In Avatar, they call these secondaries, the voices that come up. And my former wife and I spent the entire day with coaches at Avatar clearing all the secondaries. And there's a whole bunch of different techniques we're going to be sharing on calls about how to clear these. One of them that we used is you actually act out the secondaries, you know, and you actually kind of make fun of the voices, and you even make it bigger instead of trying to, like, push it away or cover it up like some people try to do with affirmations. What you do is you actually exaggerate it, you know, and at a certain point, they lose all their power. So we literally worked the entire day with coaches, and at the end of that day, I could say with full conviction, I will do whatever it takes to go on the Wizards course 2.5 months from now. And there was complete silence in my head, no voices. Now understand, I still had no idea where the money was going to come from, but it wasn't a problem. I was just making a declaration, and I had no idea, and it wasn't a problem. And sometimes I call this the sandwich technique. If you have an intention, something you want in your life, one way you can deal with it is you make that declaration. I'm going to have $2,000 extra cash by the end of this month. And if the voice kicks in and says, but that's impossible, you even say it to yourself. And I hear a voice saying it's impossible. And then the other side of the sandwich is, and I'm going to have it, $2,000 by the end of the month. So you can use the sandwich technique also to say whatever your intention is, then immediately whatever voice you notice, you do a quick, just admit that, yep, that's there, and I'm going to have it, even in spite of the voice. So those are like two techniques you can use to clear something when you have an intention. So basically, at the end of this course, I had set the intention, I was able to state it, and I had not a clue how that was going to happen. So what happened is I had a partner I was doing a little real estate investing with, and we had gotten this empty lot in this semi-agricultural area in South Florida from some brothers who were like 65 years old who lived in Ohio, whose parents had bought it to retire in, and they were long since gone. And they basically said to us, if you transfer it to your name, you pay the legal expenses, it's yours. So we paid a few $1,000s to a lawyer to do all the legal work. And 4 days after that previous avatar course, the lawyer calls us and says, okay, it's all yours. And my partner and I hadn't even looked at it. We had just looked at an aerial map and decided for a few $1,000 it was worth a gamble, even though it was like a semi-agricultural area. So what we did at that point is we made a list of all the landowners who had land around it, figuring maybe one of them would be interested. And we drove up to actually see the lot. And this area was so weird that the lot actually wasn't on a road. It was a road that kind of went through this development, and there were lots behind lots. And you have legal right to go through somebody else's lot to get to yours. And when we pulled up, there was a guy getting out of his car who happened to own a lot on the road, and ours was behind his. And we explained we wanted to go through his property, and he was like, sure, no problem. And then he said, do you mind if I come with you? And it was like, sure, no problem. So we go to this barn he's got on the property. And in this barn, he's got every man toy imaginable. He's got boats and motorcycles and golf carts, and you just name it. There were like 20 different types of vehicles in that barn. And we hop in one of his golf carts, and we drive to the back of his property where ours is. And we're looking at it together, and he says to us, you guys interested in selling? And I said, yep. And he said, how much? And I had done a little research before, and I conferred with my partner, and we said $25,000. And he says, yep, okay. And we go back to his barn. He gives us a couple thousand as a deposit. And basically, 4 days later, my partner and I had $25,000, which we didn't have 4 days previous to that. And, of course, I had to split it. So for me, that was $12,500 4 days later. And that was the first time I got that you could create an intention and create something even if you didn't know how. And I really got the power in that. So setting intentions is important, and dealing with the voices, the secondaries, whatever you want to call it, that's what's going to keep all of us from having whatever it is we want, whether it's money, it's love, it's health. We have to deal with that. We have to clear those limiting beliefs, whether they're conscious in our head or whether they're subconscious, and we have to do a little digging. But clearing them out creates the possibility for that intention to come into being. And that was really the first time, that was about 10 years ago, that I really got the power of that.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to share about my experience at Dream Builder remember when she said, can you say, I love money? And she held it, Mary Morrissey held up a pile of money, and she starts kissing it, and she goes, when she first saw someone do that, she's like, no way I can do that. And then she shared with us how she finally did get to that point.
Well, she said she couldn't do that because she looked at the person, I think it was at a church function, and she was like, oh my God, he's not spiritual, he's kissing money. Like, yeah. And I think also the money is dirty paradigm came up. So a bunch of things popped in her head that said, oh, my God, what a disgusting thing to do.
Right. And she did end up clearing that. And then at lunch break, Mark asked me if I could do that. And so he handed me a pile of money, and I looked at it and went, okay, I love money. But it was coming out like totally, and I was not feeling it at all. And he said, wow, you really can't say that, can you? And I'm like, no, I don't feel it. I just could not say that I love money and really mean it. And what was coming up for me was I was hearing my mom and dad arguing over money, and I have both sisters on this call, my sisters, Rachel and Elisa. You're both there, right?
We're here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so both of you know what it's like in our family when there are arguments over money, and we're both, you know, we were listening to this, and I was feeling like, wow, whatever this money thing is, because I didn't know when I was really young what this money thing was. To me, it was like it was taken away from the happiness, and it was making me feel very stressed and tense when I was listening to it, so I didn't want to have anything to do with it. So now when I was faced with saying I love money, I would feel this tension coming up around it and hear the arguments. And then I saw myself handing Mom and Dad a pile of money, like going back in time and handing them a big pile of money. And would they still be arguing? And I still heard them arguing even if they had lots of money. So it wasn't really about the money. I got there was something underneath it that was causing the argument. It really wasn't the money. It's like a placeholder for something else that's buried down deep underneath it. And then Mark asked me, well, how are you going to help other people to clear their money paradigms and help them to have the relationship with money that you want them to have if you don't even have it for yourself? And I went ding, ding, ding. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really ready to clear this and let go of this old money paradigm. And I want freedom for myself. And then I can share that with my loved ones and my sisters and everyone on the call when I have let go of that story that money is the cause of arguments and pain and tearing apart our family. There was a lot of stories about it in our family where I felt like it was tearing us apart. And now I can see that actually what was underneath it was my parents didn't know how to communicate, and they didn't have the tools, and they didn't know how to communicate what they were feeling and how to work together as a team in a powerful partnership. I have a partnership now with Mark, and it's completely different than what I had before. Before I would have either I would rely on the man or I was still relying on my mom to help me with money. And that was dependency, total dependency. Or I was being the provider for the man in my relationship, and he was relying on me. So that was not partnership. Now I get that I can have a powerful partnership where both of us are contributing equally. We are equals in this relationship, and there's not a relationship where there's codependency, and nobody is disempowered in this relationship that I have. And we have all these powerful tools in how to communicate our feelings and emotions, and we are full, and we don't need to try to get something from each other that the other doesn't have. So my parents didn't have those tools, and they were doing the best that they could with what they had, and they were putting the money thing the money issue was actually put out there as a symbol. It's actually of something that was deeper going on. Both of them were feeling depleted. They didn't feel like they were getting the love that they wanted in their life. And now I can see that it's really not the money. It's what's underneath it. And in this relationship, it's completely transformed.
Great, yeah. So that's an example of a money paradigm, a money limiting belief that having money will tear things apart, basically, because it kind of looked like it tore your family apart, but it really had nothing to do with the money, because there was a distinction between being independent, being codependent, and then having a real partnership, and they just didn't know from having a partnership.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with money.
Yes.
So one of the things we'd like to offer now is to clear any money paradigms anybody has an awareness of, and you shared a lot of those in the surveys you filled out, and some were brought up next week.
Ooh, I wanted to bring in one of the exercises that we did over the weekend and use that to help clear. Remember the one where we had 3 of us in a triad? And I was going to invite someone to jump in and have us clear a money paradigm by using this exercise that we did.
We could do that. Let's just get a list of a couple of the paradigms that are current.
Okay.
I remember from last week somebody had mentioned money maybe not being spiritual. Is that an issue for anybody on the call now? Like it's not spiritual to want money? Anybody have that one?
Yes.
Okay, we got that one. Okay, good. Money is not spiritual. Or wanting money is not spiritual. How would you say it?
It's more of, as a spiritual being, really getting motivated by money instead of the spiritual foundation of it.
So, in other words, wanting money is not spiritual. Would that be the belief? How would you say it?
Oh, that's a good one.
Wanting money is not spiritual. We shouldn't want money if we're spiritual beings, right?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
And Elisa, I'd like to have you jump in, Elisa, and share a money belief that you have that you believe is in your way.
Money gives me the freedom and the time to love and get to enjoy my family. It gives me the freedom to actually get to enjoy the things that actually really matter in life, which is family. To me, money is freedom.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Now, that's an empowering belief.
Yeah.
And we're certainly going to encourage that. What we want to know is also, are there any disempowering beliefs you're coming up against right now about money? Things you say like, I have to depend on somebody else to have money, for example, like anything you're coming up against.
Or maybe I can't make money without a car.
I'm definitely. I feel that I have two major tools that are required in order to make money in my book. Number 1, my phone, and number 2 is my car. I find making money without one of those quite challenging, even more so.
Okay. Also, you have one more, is that you've applied for jobs for 2 years. And you've applied everywhere, and there's just no jobs available.
No, I believe there's tons of jobs available. I believe that I'm not being attracted to. I do believe that I'm not being attracted to all those other jobs because they aren't really where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, okay. So you're recognizing there's actually a belief you have that's blocking you from being in the perfect job.
Yes, that's what. Well, no, being in the job that I'm meant to be in. Like, for instance, Best Buy did not keep me because that was not where I was intended to be.
Okay, and what's a belief that you might have created that's keeping you from attracting the one that is the highest for you?
I've already enrolled in college and everything, but have not pursued the actual courses because of my fear of when I had left school the fear of not being smart enough.
There you go. That's perfect. Not being smart enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not smart enough and don't have the background, the education, the degree, the tools, something like that?
Schooling takes discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
It also takes, you can't quit it. You got to follow it through. You can't quit when it gets hard.
So you don't have the persistence either. That's
The only thing I
belief.
follow through on is being a mother. Other than that, in my life, I don't follow through with anything. If it gets too hard, I quit it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You sharing all of this is helping other people. And other.
This is Deepak.
Is this helping
sorry to
other
interrupt.
people?
Yeah, this is Deepak. Whoops, sorry.
Yes, please.
This is Deepak from Santa Clara. I didn't catch the last lady's name. I understand where she's coming from, saying that may not feel good enough. I don't have a top 10 school on my resume, and I feel like I can't become an executive. I'm stuck in middle management, and I can't become an executive because I don't have that top 10 school, and that's like a kind of a back belief I have also. So I can kind of see. I just have a 4-year state system, college at San Francisco State University, and some stuff from Davis, some certificates, but it doesn't really count. At least that's the way I feel. I don't feel like I fit into the executive club because of my lack of, Harvard or Stanford.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak. That was excellent. Yeah, I really appreciate your sharing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share something else they feel they're up against for having money, having the life they want? Okay. Now, one of the commonalities that I'm seeing in everything we brought up, not having the tools like car, money, not having the background, not being smart enough, not following through, not having a top 10 school in the resume, they're basically all saying there's something I lack that's in my way. They all share that.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that Mary Morrissey really hit home this past weekend is that she would call these circumstances the what we have right now. And I'm not arguing with any of these. These are just facts. We'll just say, we don't have the car right now, don't have the top 10 school in the resume, don't have the background, whatever it is. That's just a fact. And she calls it circumstances. But the paradigm that she looked at was that the circumstances don't matter. Where we have to come from is having something regardless of the circumstances. Even though the circumstances are basically going to scream at us and say, it's impossible, but not if we start with the intention. And Mary shared a great story from her own life. She lives in the Los Angeles area in Simi Valley. And some years ago, she was living in a small house with her husband, and they decided they really needed a bigger house. And they actually found one, and then they had their old house to deal with, and this is when the market was going down in price. And the question came up, should we try to rent it since the market's going down? Like on her street where they were living, the houses kept going down in price like almost every week. And they really didn't want to be landlords. They really wanted to sell the house, and they wanted to sell it to somebody who would really love it. So she was actually having dinner with a girlfriend of hers, and it came up that she wanted to sell her old house. And the girlfriend kind of looked at her funny and said to her, in this market? Immediately she felt her energy drop the moment her girlfriend shared that. And those were circumstances. Circumstances were the market was bad, prices were going down, there was a lot of inventory on the market, and it didn't look good. And then she realized after a couple of days of being in that low energy that she knew from her experience that she could set the intention to sell it and have it sold. So she actually raised her energy and said, you know what, we're going to sell our house. And we're going to sell it to somebody who loves it, and we're going to sell it at a price that's good for both us and the buyers. So she just set an intention, even though everything looked bad. And then what happened is, when they're moving out, literally the day they're moving out, one of the neighbors from across the street came by to say goodbye, you know, and she shared they're moving to this other area, to a larger home. And she asked, you know, what are you doing with your home right now? You know, and she said, well, we actually want to sell it, and it will be on the market next week. Do you know anybody who would be interested? And this neighbor from across the street said, oh, you know, as a matter of fact, I do. Would you mind if I called them right now? And I was like, nope, that's fine. And she calls this friend, and they wanted to come over, like, immediately to see the house. And Mary said, no, we're in the middle of moving out. Could you wait till tomorrow? You know, and these people came over the next day, and they literally made an agreement on the spot. Before the house was even on the market, it was a fair price for Mary and her husband and for this family who bought it, and everybody was thrilled with the deal. So even though everything looked bad, the circumstances actually are never a block. The biggest block is us and our energy, and just creating that intention that you're going to have whatever you want regardless of circumstances. Even though they look challenging, they're never really the biggest block. The biggest block is really ourselves.
Awesome. So I'm going to have Elisa. Elisa, are you there? Can you, since you gave us these great beliefs, I'd like you to do this exercise with us, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So do you have a pen and paper in front of you?
I can in about 1 second.
Okay, that's okay. And whoever else needs to get a pen and paper, I'm going to have you write down these words. And
okay,
I'll say them a couple
go ahead.
times.
I'm ready.
Okay. So you're going to write down, excuse me, I am interrupting this message with an important announcement. I am a powerful creator in my life. I am having what I want just because I want it.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Yeah, I'll say it again. Yep. Excuse me. Exclamation. You can put 3 of those exclamation points.
I'm interrupting this message.
I am interrupting this message.
Or this thought. This is when those limiting thoughts come up that say, uh-oh, I can't have the job I want because I don't have a car. I'm not smart enough. I don't follow through. I don't have a top 10 school on my resume. Whatever all of your limiting thoughts are, the moment you hear those voices, one of the things you can do is you can say, excuse me.
And we're going to model that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So this is an important, I am interrupting this message with an important announcement. And let me know when everyone has that.
I have it.
Okay?
That's excellent.
Okay, can I move on?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I
don't
am
know
a
if
powerful creator.
Yes, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a powerful creator in my life. I am having what I want just because I want it.
That part's crucial right there.
And we're saying that because at Mary Morrissey's, they actually put deserve in there, but we have talked about deserving before on other calls, and I'm going to just sum it up. Deserving and being worthy or good enough is a losing game. You cannot win that game. Your mind will always give you some reason that you're not worthy, not deserving, not good enough. They'll always say something
What is it?
that you...
Wait, I am having in my life what?
Whatever I want just because I want it.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. I
I want, just because I want it.
That's so crucial right there. I have whatever I want just because I want it.
The deserving or being worthy will keep you trapped. You can just put that one aside and leave it alone. There is no winning that game.
So all the stories...
There's no explanation required.
No explanation required.
Yep.
Yeah, you see, the explanations start you down the slippery slope.
Yeah.
And, and it's the biggest trap, especially those of us, who may have a spiritual focus, and we're kind of like, well, am I good enough? Am I spiritual enough? Am I kind enough, loving enough, blah, blah, blah. All those things will keep you from having what you want. And literally the world is not created that way. And if you want to read something about this, probably the best source I've seen is Conversations with God. You can have whatever you want just because you want it. Literally, that's the way the world has been set up.
It's a universal truth.
So the moment any part of you starts to say, but I'm not, or I don't have, you just say, shut up. Or excuse me if you want to be polite.
And we want to get into modeling this because it's really powerful how this works. So, Lisa, you've got it all written down, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Mark and I are going to be the voices in your head and we're going to be saying over and over again for, I don't know, a couple of minutes, these limiting voices that you hear in your head. We're going to model that and be saying it to you. And when I give you the signal, you're going to say, excuse me. And you really put your power into it, like stop your foot and say, excuse me. I am interrupting this message with an important announcement. I am a powerful creator in my life. I am having what I want just because I want it. All right?
Oh, God.
You up for it, Lizzie?
Why am I being put on the spot? I sit in the back of the classroom. I'm the quiet one. Okay? I'm sorry. I did not raise my hand at any point.
Well,
Rachel, you do it.
I've already done it.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Oh,
I've
no,
already done it.
Sibling fight right now. You're hearing it live. We said we were going to have fun on this call.
So, Lisa, I get it's a little challenging, but would you really like to have what you'd like in life?
Yes.
So can you play with us?
So do the work. Yes, I can.
Okay. So what we're going to do is just for a few seconds, we're going to say back to you those limiting beliefs that you said to us, as if they're the voices in your head, and then we're going to stop, and then you just make that declaration. But what I want you to do is feel the power in I can have whatever I want just because I want it. Like really feel it, just declare it. Even if you don't know it to be true, just declare it to be true. Can you do that just as a way of playing?
Yes. That's the beginning is to declare it, whether you're believing it or not at first.
Right. Exactly. And all of you on the call, you all have your voices, whatever they're saying. So, as we're gonna parrot back to Elisa, some of hers. Just hear whatever yours are, and then if you want, you can make the declaration also for yourselves. Everybody ready?
Yes.
All right. Here we go.
I'm actually going to time it for just a couple of minutes.
No, not even.
Not even?
No, just 10 seconds.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Oh.
So, Lisa, who the heck do you think you are that you can have a job doing what you want?
You can't even follow
it.
through.
You've never had this
Excuse me. I'm interrupting. I have an important message. I am a powerful creator in my life, and I am having my life whatever I want, just the way I want it.
Oh, woo! That was good. You really did interrupt us. We were just getting going.
Excuse me.
You stopped us dead in our
Now
tracks.
you may speak. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was getting into it. I'm sorry.
Oh, awesome. No, sorry.
You could just really get into that power playing. It's really like it sucks you in. It's just it absorbs.
Right.
Sorry. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. That was such a perfect example for everybody on the call. That's exactly how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay, yes, and everybody should do it because I have to tell you, it feels really good.
Good. And now we want to give you some life-affirming statements. Now we're going to give you the new voices in your head that are going to come in to support you. All right? You ready?
Okay.
Yeah. Here we go. You are a powerful creator. You know that you can accomplish so much more than you ever thought possible. Because look at what you've already come through. You've already been so powerful in coming through some things that would take other people down to their knees and keep them there. For what you have come through with your son and with your family, and how you have literally picked yourself up and took a walk today, and you created a powerful day for yourself, and you did that out of just the love for yourself, and that is so powerful. I'm amazed at who you have become and how you've empowered yourself.
Yeah.
And breathe that in. And everybody breathe in those empowering words that support you. This is after you've made your declaration of having what you're going to have in your life simply because you want it. And now you can feel and really have the support from yourself and all those empowering words that come in to support you. Elisa, thank you for jumping in. That was so courageous.
Yeah, thanks for volunteering.
Yes, thank you, Lynette. Thank you, Lynette, for your last text to reel me in again. I wasn't going to come in, and thank you for giving me that extra boost.
Oh, you're welcome. And what a powerful support that us sisters have been for each other. And I'm so amazed at the powerful love and really the way our family has pulled together through the hardship that we have created out of our hardships. I've seen us sisters pull together and create a strong bond, and I'm so grateful to have both of you here on this call. I mean, what an amazing miracle to have all three of us on here. Thank you, Lacey and Rachel.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you. And thank you, everybody. So anybody else on the call any comments on this exercise or question? Anybody need any support on it?
This is Frank.
Yes, Frank.
So after you declare, excuse me, I'm interrupting this message. After you do all of that, you're also ending it with a support statement?
Yes. Yes. And I was thinking about you when I was using this during the week, because I have voices that come in, Franco, that are very, they disempower me. Like they'll come in and I'm not even really conscious of them. But now, since I've been using that excuse me, I'm interrupting this message. Now I'm aware of those voices that come in that create depression or that disempower me, like like just a nagging that kind of goes on in the background, like, well, why didn't you do this? And you didn't follow, you said you were going to do this today, and boy, you didn't do it. And then it just keeps taking me down, and I've been using that, excuse me, I'm interrupting this message, and it stops it. It stops it. I have had such quiet in my head from those voices. It's such an amazing freedom to have peace from those voices, Franco.
I honestly could have used this throughout my week.
Yeah. Can you,
because
would you share with us a couple of the voices that you hear, Franco, in your head that keep you disempowered? Can you share?
Well, I can kind of relate to the caller from Santa Clara. Is it Santa Clara?
Yeah.
Which is ironic considering after this call I have to head on, use BART to get back to Milpitas, because that's the area I come from. This whole week I've been blaming myself because, I've only got 3 weeks left of work, and I've been trying to work on my resume, and all it's been doing is bringing me down because although I graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, it still doesn't mean much when you take a look at my resume because I've been all over the place. I've been in survival mode for the last 17 years of my life, taking one contract job to another, and I take a look at my resume, and it's, for me, no wonder no one's gonna hire me for a regular job. I'm gonna be stuck doing contract jobs until I die. Because even though I graduated from this great school, I'm all over the place. I'm not good enough, So that's been going through my head, and I've also been blaming myself for losing this job.
Ah, okay. Can you tell us the voice that you hear when it's blaming you for losing the job? What's the, like, if you could give us a statement where it's kind of yelling at you or nagging at you, what would that be?
It's not even yelling. It's just quiet. It's the worst. It's actually worse. It's just quiet. It's that quiet voice. That's actually worse for me. Because it's just quietly saying, we screwed this up. It's your fault again. And it's got that sad, and it's got that sad tinge to it. And lately, I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but this past week I've been picturing my inner self, as a little boy, and it's sad. I see my younger self in such a sad look in his eyes, scared of everything, scared of the future, scared of what's going to happen. And I don't know how to help that little boy because I hear that quiet voice, you failed again. And I'm looking at the boy and I'm saying, I'm sorry I failed you. No wonder you're scared.
Yeah. Wow, huge awareness that you have. For you to even hear that and recognize it as a little boy is really powerful. And I'm so appreciating that you're sharing this, Franco, because that is really the voice that we're hearing. The voice in the background is coming from a little child in the fight, flight, or freeze survival mode. So you have spoken for everyone on the call. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Can we do a little exercise right now with that, Franco?
Sure.
Okay. So
I don't mind telling you, it kind of hurt to share that because I can't do anything to help him.
Yeah. Well, okay, so that's exactly what we are going to do, is something to help him. So, and we all have that. These voices almost always, not always, but almost always come from something in childhood. Our little boy or little girl didn't get something that they thought they should have had, and then it just stays with us, usually in the background. Sometimes it comes up more clearly, but it's there with almost everybody. So one of the things that I've learned to do through a lot of the work that Lynette and I have done is to actually embrace it. When there's something that we don't like about ourselves, one of the things we usually do is sometimes we either crumble or we try to push it away. But one of the things I've learned to do is actually the opposite, is to actually breathe it in and just like totally feel it like, oh my God, I so know what it feels like to be that little boy. And I just, like, breathe it in and feel that fear, that unknown, and just take it in and just feel it completely.
And everybody do this that's on the call.
Whatever voice you have that's some small child, just breathe it in, just feel it, and get there's nothing wrong with that feeling. There's nothing wrong with that voice. There's nothing wrong with that little boy. There's nothing wrong with that little girl. And actually say, yeah, of course that little boy is scared. Absolutely. Of course that little girl wants to feel loved and treasured and honored and feel she makes a difference. And the little boy wants to feel supported and strong and powerful and loved. Of course. There's nothing wrong with that part of us wanting what they want. And just breathe it in. Just say, yeah, of course I want that. Of course my little boy, of course my little girl wants that. And actually love them for wanting it. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to feel secured and supported and to know that everything's going to be okay? Of course they want that. And love them for wanting that. Embrace them. If you can get a picture in your mind, just see yourself like putting your arms around that little boy or that little girl and saying, oh, come here, of course you want that. I so love you for wanting that. It shows how much you care. Shows how important love is to you and how important security is to you that you want that. Of course you want it. And just breathe that in.
Everyone take a nice deep breath and feel it.
Just fill your chest with that, of course. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Just feel the peace of that. Of course. Everybody wants that. Of course I want it also. And then you go back to where we were a moment ago and you say, and I'm going to have it just because I want it. I'm having it just because I want it.
And there's nothing you have to do to earn it.
Yep.
It's just a given to you because you declared that you're having it.
That's it. It's all that's necessary.
In any other voice, you just say in return, excuse me. I'm having it.
Just because I want it. Franco, how are you doing with that?
Like I said, I could have used this whole week.
Yeah. We're looking forward to next week. Does this feel like something that you can take on for this coming week?
Yes.
Awesome.
Did you actually feel a shift as we were talking through it just now?
A little. I have to admit, I'm just getting over, because I don't like seeing children in pain and suffering, and I guess now I understand why. That's the greatest thing that will hurt me if I see children suffering. And I'm one of the greatest protectors.
Oh, I so understand that. Being a fellow protector myself, I totally understand and acknowledge yourself for having such a big heart that you care so much about children. Like, breathe that in. You have a huge heart. You really care that everybody, including children, are taken care of. And get how awesome that is, that you care that much, because there's so many people in the world that don't care. you really so want to just embrace every child and make sure they feel loved and secure and safe. And what an awesome human being you are, that you care that much. Can you take that in, Franco?
Yes. Sorry, lump in my throat. It's hard for me to talk.
Good, good.
Well, you know, you'll feel viscerally in your body shift. Like right now, the principles that we're talking about are actually shifting the cells in your body. The patterns that we have ingrained into our consciousness actually go into the cells of the body, and as we are talking about it right now and breathing it into our bodies, it's actually changing you on a cellular level. So what you're feeling, that lump in your throat, is definitely you are having a huge shift in your consciousness, in your body, and it's very visceral. And it's really powerful to feel it deeply into the body. And sometimes it'll bring up even more emotions. And just know it's part of the process that you're going to get a bubbling up of all the emotions and feelings that you have suppressed up till now.
And also get that everything that any of us could say that we might call negative about ourselves, like we feel like a child, for example, there's actually a flip side where it says something phenomenal about each of us. Like in your example, how deeply you really care about people. So there's no truth even to those voices we have, because there's always another side that it really demonstrates on some level how much we care about something, how important it is, how much we value it. So there's not even a downside to these voices, because they're really showing us who we are, who our core is, and how magnificent we really are. And one of the challenges that keeps us from having what we are is not acknowledging our greatness. One of the things, unfortunately, we've been taught too much in the United States in particular is that we're supposed to be modest and not supposed to toot our own horn, you know. And it's okay to praise other people, but to acknowledge ourselves, like we almost never learn how to do that. But we all have this amazing greatness. And when we start to acknowledge our greatness, that actually creates the energy that creates what we want in life. So actually acknowledging to yourself as well, Franco, how amazing you are, that's actually going to power you to having what you want in life just because you want it, because you really are that great human being. And you know it. And forget all the people who say you're not supposed to toot your own horn, because that will never get you anywhere. Absolutely. Blow as loud as you can and say, wow, Franco, you are amazing.
And a powerful tool to do that is also standing in front of the mirror. And I'd actually like to ask Rachel if you could share the mirror exercise that you just gave Elisa to do. Would you share that?
Sure, let me just review it.
Just like put my sisters on the spot.
No, but this mirror work really is what's responsible for, like what you were talking about, really at a cellular level, really having access to the things I want. And one of the suggestions I gave my sister that really helped me recently in a shift that I had was I realized with money that down to my core, I really didn't think that I had my back. I had experiences of relying on other people for supporting me, or making excuses for jobs and the money I did have, why maybe I didn't even deserve the money that I even was getting with jobs. But I still was never acknowledging the fact that I wasn't backing me up. And so in the mirror now, I have these conversations with myself, these really meaningful conversations where I stand in the mirror and I'll look myself right in the pupil, like through my pupil, like through my eyes, until I feel like I'm really, just really connecting with myself. And I will say, I know you're scared right now. I know that this is scary. I see you, and I completely understand the way that you feel, because of the circumstances that you've been through. But I got your back. I am here to financially support you right now, and I will do whatever it takes to do that. I got you. And I'm standing in the mirror right now doing it. So, and I get chills through my body, because ultimately that's what I've always wanted, is to know that I am the creator, especially of my financial abundance. And that's when, as soon as I got that through my body, and my body was like downloading that, that's when I'm experiencing these miracles with money right now.
Can you share some of your successes, Rachel?
Oh my gosh, it's been cold, hard cash flow. I mean, this isn't like feel good like money stuff. This is like within. I just added things up with me and Nancy right now. And just within a matter of 2 weeks, a total between finding money that I didn't even know I had, and in retirements, and cashing a couple of the smaller ones out, and things that we're selling, because we both have actively participated in staying in a high vibration, surrendering, and releasing things. So getting rid of things, and so not having as many attachments. And in 2 weeks, the total is almost 8,000 now.
Wow.
Woo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We celebrate, all of us are celebrating your success. Thank you for sharing that, Rachel.
Wonderful.
You're welcome.
Oh, and thank you for sharing your exercise in the mirror. And I'd invite everyone to put it into words, even if the excuse me, I'm interrupting this message isn't as powerful for you, because I tweaked the words a little bit, because the way Mary Morrissey had that exercise, it wasn't as powerful for me. So I would encourage you to put in words that are more powerful for you. And even the mirror exercise that Rachel just shared, put it into words that mean something powerful to you, and it'll land much more powerfully.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay, is there anybody else on the call who would like to share either some successes, some challenges, anything at all? We have a few minutes left on the call.
Yeah, this is Deepak from. Sorry. Yeah, this is Deepak from Center. Yeah, so one thing I've done with law of attraction over the last couple of years is that I've made intents. Sometimes I just want to do it for the heck of it. Sometimes it just really sticks in my mind, and it does. Something manifests itself. There are some things that kind of hold me back, like, my school name is not so big. Being here in Santa Clara, I'm near a lot of venture capital funded tech companies. A lot of them all have Stanford backgrounds, so there's that limitation there. But some of the things I was going to say is, you were referring to earlier about setting intentions. It's also very important to set intention, because you can set an intention that in my next job, for instance, I want to travel more, or I want to do these 5 things, or use these 5 skill sets. But you also, what happens is you can set that intention, but you might forget to set the intention with all the other surrounding things that happen. Like, is the company stable? Where's the company located? Where's your job located? So it's kind of I guess I just want to add in that you need to just really, when you set your intention, make sure you set everything, think it out through, and then set it. Don't just say, I want to be rich, but then, how are you going to be rich? Are you going to do it by scamming people, or are you going to do it by running a pyramid scheme, or are you going to do it by doing it, within the law? I'm not going to say ethical. I'm just going to say within the law. So you kind of have to, because you can set intention. I want to be super rich and have this number of millions of dollars, and then the next day you hang out at the coffee shop and meet somebody who wants to run a scam. I mean, and you partner up with them. So I don't want to. So.
Good point. If you want to be ethical, you can put that into your intention. We're totally with you on that one.
Dollars. Make sure you say United States dollars. Don't say pesos, for instance.
Excellent. So you want to be specific. Yeah.
Oh, this is Franco. I don't know if this helps, but I've been trying to incorporate this in my affirmation, especially when I do prayers. It's hard for you to cover every variable. Because, it's just not how it happens unless you have that type of Stephen Hawking's mind. I'm still working on this, but my mentor told me to take care of a lot of things that your subconscious just can't come up with while you're making the intention. Just in a blanket statement, you could say, for my highest good, and that might help in terms of for your highest good. Maybe it is better for you to be closer to home. For your highest good, maybe it is, and sometimes it's not good for you to be closer to home. If you set that intention, maybe something is better is out there where you need to be a little further from home. That's where setting it for my highest good will cover that. At least that's what I was told. I'm still getting used to saying that, but that's how it was explained to me, for your highest good, and that could include your career.
Let me ask you, does saying for my highest good actually resonate with you? Do you actually feel a power in that when you say that?
Sometimes it does, because I haven't been saying it too long, but I'm the person who has a hard time believing, because my faith has been slapped around so much. I approach everything with a bit of a skepticism. So this is why it's so challenging for me, even being on this call, hoping that what you're giving me will actually work for me, because I hate to put it in this light, but I'm desperate for my life to change.
Got it.
So I'm crossing my fingers, toes, hair, and eyeballs that. But sometimes it doesn't, because for my highest good, sometimes it's hard to accept I have to be here instead of there, or I have to, there's that implication. So, yeah, there is some doubt in that statement for me.
Well, for my highest good, it's a little vague. I would find that kind of vague for me. I like to be intentional about what I want to create and then say this or something better.
I would love to actually incorporate that, because that resonates more than anything else. This or something better, I love.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but like I said, I don't want to say playing around, because that hopefully doesn't imply that I'm not taking what I'm trying to explore seriously. But I have to run with something to see if it works or not. And sometimes I do have to admit, if it doesn't work fast enough, I do give up on it. And that's the other thing that I have a bit of impatience. I have a problem with that.
Oh, you know what we call it? Boredom. We don't like to be bored. Yeah, I think it's a great experiment, and I think it's fine for you to try on different things, Franco, and I think you will find the thing that really works for you by doing that. So I think that's a great idea to try things on. And I'm going to also invite everyone to answer these 3 questions. What is the one thing I can do right now with what I have right now, with where I am right now?
Can you say that again?
What can you do? What's one thing you can do with what you have and where you are right now?
Next week, we're going to share an amazing story or two, actually. We might even have links to some videos that will show you this. But we will share the stories next week about two different people who actually used exactly that. Mary actually coached them, actually two of her sons. We'll share more about that next week because the stories are a little involved, about how they used what can you do right now with what you have and where you are.
And there is a very inspirational speech that I'm going to put the YouTube channel up, and it's very inspiring, and I wanted to listen to it like every day to kickstart me. It's Jim Carrey. He's the comedian. He gives a great speech that they shared during the weekend, and I had heard it before, but it's really profound, and I'm going to put it up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, oh, I think I know what you're going to post.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And there's also, we're also going to put a link on the Facebook page. There's a really adorable video called Validation, which you'll find on YouTube, and we'll put a link to it, which is a validation exercise, kind of like we did with you, Franco. That's really, you really get the juice of how important validation is for each of us. And we don't have somebody outside of us. Like, the best, of course, is that we do it for ourselves, but, if we're fortunate, we might have somebody in our life who can do it as well. But that it's really, really important to get our greatness for ourselves, whether or not we have somebody outside of us. So we'll send a link to that as well.
Well, that's something I would like to plant a seed with each of you, is to set an intention to have power partners in your life that can be that. Somebody that can give validation, that can be the voice that says, excuse me, that'll hold you up. Elisa, I want to share, I felt my sister Elisa pulling away, and like for a week I was like, where is she? And I'm like, I made a real effort to pull her up, and I sent text to her, and I'm like, I am bringing Elisa with me. And Lisi, did that work for you?
Yes, at times I just I read everything, all your text messages that you and Rachel send me. I don't always respond, but they are being read. Sometimes I just read it and I'll just kind of toss my phone aside, and then I'll read them later when I'm ready to hear. But the message is getting through, yes.
Yeah, so it is powerful to have power partners that will hold you up, and when you're feeling low, or if you disappear, that they will jump in and bring a hand up and just pull you up, and you can do that for each other. So set your intention this week to have that be created in your life, and it absolutely will happen.
Mm-hmm. And if you want, you can post on Facebook that you're looking for a power partner, and we'll see if we can match up with one.
Yes. Awesome. So we are at 7:28, and we want to close at 7:30. So how would you like to close out, hon?
Any last questions anybody want us to cover for next week? Any issues to bring up?
Actually, do you mind if I just make one statement from Mary Morrissey's seminar?
Absolutely.
I thought that she did a fantastic job in saying that believe in my belief. And for everyone that's on this call is that we believe in your success. And if you don't believe in yourself, believe that we believe you. And that stuck with me.
Awesome.
So, you may not feel it, but we feel it for you, and believe that we believe you. So I just want to kind of say that, because that's what I've been feeling on the call, and I'm like, I believe in everyone.
That's fabulous. And we believe that everybody on the call can have what you want just because you want it.
Yep. And all of us, let's just for a moment take a deep breath and anchor that feeling, like really feel it solidly in your body, that everybody on this call, there's 9 people, and all of us are supporting each other and empowering each other. We are each other's power partners. And we're all visualizing that each one of you, every one of us, gets to have what we want just because we want it. We look forward to being with you next week and invite you to be with us. If we don't have your email, if you're not getting on our list, go to liveablaze.com and put in your name and email address so we can give you reminders to be on the call.
Thank you all, and we look forward to speaking to you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.